Zheng Mimi worked herself to death in her past life, burning the midnight oil with endless overtime. She opened her eyes to find she'd been reborn as a minor daughter of a concubine in the Sheng family. She had a monthly allowance and even her own handmaiden. It was a life she'd never dared to dream of, so she decided to just kick back and relax. But her stepsister, the daughter of the main wife, had also been reborn and was dead set against marrying into the prestigious Marquisate of Chongren. So, her stepmother turned to her with an idea. She would marry in her sister's place. Sheng Mimi was secretly thrilled. It was like fate was sending another payday her way. Outwardly, however, she feigned hesitation. "Madam, this is a serious matter. Will father agree?" Madam Sheng gritted her teeth. 88 palanquins of dowry will be yours, including 200 acres of farmland and 3 shops in the capital. I'll handle your father. If she weren't so afraid of offending the Marquise's family, she'd never part with such a fortune. And so Sheng Mimi decisively put on the wedding dress and went in her sister's place. The magnificent wedding procession stunned the entire capital. Many were curious. Wasn't this the eldest daughter's engagement? Why the last-minute switch? Her personal handmaiden was worried. "Miss, the Marquisate of Chongren is powerful, but that young marquis brought home a pair of fraternal twins 7 years ago. You'll be a stepmother. He's also been at the border for years and hasn't returned. Are you sure about this?" "Of course I'm sure. It's a done deal," Sheng Mimi replied from the bridal sedan, her face beaming with joy. Who said this was a bad deal? This marriage was a dream come true. Madam Sheng had never liked her, and she'd always had to watch her step just to get by. The dowry alone was worth more than she could ever hope for in a lifetime as a concubine's daughter in the Sheng family. Plus, think about it. She'd be the lady of a marquise's house, with a son and daughter, all without the pain of childbirth. Pull off this one big score and she'd be set for life. Her handmaiden wasn't so optimistic. "Miss, I heard those 2 children are incredibly naughty. The eldest daughter must have backed out after hearing about them, afraid she'd be bullied. Why else would she give up the young marquise?" Sheng Mimi's gossip-loving side perked up. "Tell me everything." "The engagement between our families was set long ago, but he just brought back 2 children without a word, treating them as his legitimate heirs. It was a huge slap in the face to our family. The Marquis family actually offered to break off the engagement, but the eldest daughter insisted on marrying him, so it was kept. For her to back out now? Those kids must be a real handful." "Don't worry," Sheng Mimi soothed her. "I'll play it by ear." She mulled it over. What if the Marquis family rejected the switch and kicked her out? Well, she was determined to get that money, so she'd have to find a way to stay, no matter how hard it was. Suddenly, the sedan chair stopped, and the bustling street fell silent. It was the Imperial Guard making their rounds. Sheng Mimi worried about missing the auspicious hour for the wedding, which would only make things harder. She peeked through the curtain. The Imperial Guard was the most feared department in the Dayu dynasty, answering only to the emperor and holding the power to execute without trial. The man in the lead, wearing a mask, was their emissary. He was said to be a cold, ruthless killer, a name that made everyone in the capital tremble. His powerful gaze met hers, and the sheer force of his presence startled her. She held his stare for a second before ducking back inside. His eyes are terrifying, she thought. Better not mess with him. Please, just let him move on so he doesn't ruin my big day. Soon the procession was moving again. When they arrived at the Marquise's estate, her fears proved unfounded. Several stewards were waiting at the gate to welcome her and perform the traditional blessing for the bride. It seemed the family had accepted the switch. As she sat in the sedan, she overheard 2 very arrogant little voices from a nearby flower bush. "Hurry up and get ready, sister. She's about to get out. I'll set off firecrackers behind her and you throw beans under her feet. We'll make her fall flat on her face." If she wants to enter our home, she'll have to get past me, Ning Yao Yang." Sheng Mimi thought, wow, these little devils are really trying to humiliate me right off the bat. Just then, 2 wedding attendants opened the curtain. "Madam, please alight." Knowing what was coming, Sheng Mimi had no choice but to step out and react as it happened. As she emerged, the 2 little schemers sprang into action. Amidst the celebratory music, the little boy threw a handful of soybeans at her feet. The 2 attendants in front of her slipped and scrambled to regain their balance. "What's going on? The bride can't fall." Sheng Mimi placed a hand on an attendant's shoulder, using it as a brace to leap clear of the slippery beans. "Is that all you've got?" she thought with a smirk. She was no slouch thanks to years of dedicated exercise. The 2 kids were stunned. "Brother, she didn't fall. It's okay. I've got another trick up my sleeve." Having avoided their first welcome prank, the ceremony continued. The head steward presented her with a jade pendant. "Madam, this is the young Marquis's personal jade, representing him. Please hold it during the wedding ceremony." Sheng Mimi nodded. Marrying a jade pendant was much better than the old tradition of marrying a rooster. But as she was distracted, the little boy, Ning Yao Yang, rushed forward and bumped into her. Hey, bad woman, give my dad's jade back. The pendant flew from her grasp. She tried to catch it, but it was too late. She could only watch as it shattered into 4 or 5 pieces on the ground. The chubby little boy grinned. The second prank was a success. Now she couldn't complete the ceremony, right? Sheng Mimi's fists clenched. This brat had been nothing but trouble all morning. It was time for a rude awakening. She grabbed the boy, flipped him over her lap, and started spanking his bottom, making it look and sound much worse than it actually was. This is for throwing beans, and this is for breaking my husband's jade. The boy, used to getting his way, had never been treated like this. He howled, "You crazy woman, do you know who I am? How dare you hit me?" Sheng Mimi's spats came faster. "I don't care who you are. If I don't spank you red today, then my name isn't Sheng. You evil stepmother, let me go. Not until you admit you were wrong." The wedding hall erupted into chaos as the Marquise's staff watched in stunned silence. The old Marquis and his wife, the boy's grandparents, were also wide-eyed with amazement. They'd never seen their little terror, Ning Yaoyang, get his comeuppance before. Seeing that the point was made, they rushed over. "All right, dear daughter-in-law, let's stop for now. We can finish the spanking after the wedding." Sheng Mimi, of course, had to give them face and immediately stopped. The little boy put on a pitiful act, clinging to the old madam. "Grandma, my sister and I don't want a stepmother. Stepmothers are evil. They'll starve us and hurt us. I don't care if she hurts me, but I won't let anyone hurt my sister." Though the boy's performance was moving, the old madam just sighed and had a maid take him away so he wouldn't cause any more trouble. "Let go of me! I will never accept this evil stepmother," he yelled as he was carried off. After that, Sheng Mimi smoothly completed the ceremony. The old madam took her hand, looking more and more pleased. "My dear child, our Jingmo isn't here today, and we're sorry you had to go through this. We don't mind the substitute marriage. From now on, you are the lady of this house. Just live here in peace and make this your home." Sheng Mimi was surprised by this turn of events. The elders had accepted her. After years of living in the Sheng family, she had rarely felt such warmth. "Thank you, father and mother, for your kindness." The old couple had initially been hesitant about the switch, but seeing how Sheng Mimi could handle Yao Yang, they were now relieved and even grateful. They thought that perhaps she could be the one to finally discipline the two children and change their unruly ways. "Mimi, you did well today. You've seen what Yao Yang and Zhao Yue are like? They're completely spoiled. We're actually planning a long trip to Yangzhou to visit our married daughter. Starting today, this household is in your hands." Sheng Mimi was dumbfounded. "Father? Mother? Isn't this a bit too fast?" She'd only come here for the 30 taels of silver a month she'd get as the lady of the house. Managing the entire estate wasn't part of the plan, but the old couple was firm. "We know it's a lot to ask of a new bride, managing the house and the children. So how about this? For managing the household, we'll add another 30 taels to your monthly allowance. And for managing the children, we'll add another 40. Sheng Mimi did the math. 100 taels a month. That was 1,200 a year, the same as a fourth-rank official's salary. If she did this for just 3 to 5 years, she could afford her own mansion in the capital. She immediately stood tall and declared, "Father, mother, you can leave without any worries. Leave the house to me. I will take good care of the children and manage all of our family's affairs." Soon after, Sheng Mimi moved into the courtyard of her absent husband, Ning Jingmo. It was as grand as she'd imagined. She had her handmaiden take inventory of her dowry from the Sheng family and move it all into her private storeroom. "My good life is finally beginning," she declared. She planned to live in the outer rooms, leaving the inner suite for Ning Jingmo to house his future concubines. She knew her place. But to secure her footing in the Marquise's estate, she knew she had to put in the work. She summoned the head steward, Uncle Liu, and asked for the account books and a list of all household staff. From now on, all matters were to be reported to her. Sheng Mimi stayed up all night studying the relationships and duties of the staff. She knew that the old Marquise and Madame's approval wasn't enough. She had to earn the respect of everyone in the household to truly have a say. She worked all night and had just fallen asleep when her handmaiden burst in. "Madam, it's terrible. The young master and young miss are on a hunger strike." Sheng Mimi wasn't fazed. "Just a couple of kids throwing a tantrum. Take me to them." As she approached their residence, she could hear the little tyrant, Ning Yaoyang, shouting, "I said I'm not eating! Everyone, get out!" Sheng Mimi walked in, arms crossed. "Ning Yaoyang, I heard you're so mad that you lost to me yesterday that you're refusing to eat. Is that true?" Yao Yang instantly flew into a rage, pouncing at her. "What did you say, you bad woman? Say that again if you dare." Sheng Mimi sidestepped him easily, letting him tumble past. She then held up the house steward's token, smiling sweetly. "Ning Yaoyang, I am your mother now. If you lay a hand on me, that's a grave act of disrespect. Your grandparents gave me authority over this house. If you disrespect me, I can punish you however I see fit." The two children looked as if their world was ending. You're lying. There's no way Grandma and Grandpa would give you, a bad woman, control of the house. Sheng Mimi dangled the token. Your grandparents have already left for Yangzhou to visit your aunt. They didn't tell you because they knew you'd cry and make a fuss. Impossible. You're a liar. Just then, maids brought in breakfast. Sheng Mimi pretended to lunge for it. So much delicious food. Well, since the young master is on a hunger strike, just leave a little for Jiao Yue. Bring the rest to my room. Yao Yang exploded again. Your dreams! Who said I'm on a hunger strike? This is our food. Don't you dare touch it. Serve the food I'm eating now. Sister, eat quickly before the bad woman steals it all. He then began stuffing his face, finishing half the food in moments. Sheng Mimi feigned disappointment and announced to the servants, from now on, if the young master decides to go on a hunger strike, don't bother sending food to his courtyard. I'm the one in charge now, and him not eating just saves me money. She left with a grin. So easy to provoke, she thought. Handling these two kids won't be so hard after all. Ning Yaoyang felt like he was going to burst with anger. That woman, this is my grandparents' house. When did it become hers? She wishes that evil stepmother wants to starve me. I'll eat 3 big meals a day just to spite her. His sister, Ning Jiaoyue, glanced at her fuming brother, who had given up his hunger strike in less than a day. When he started choking, she patted his back. Brother, slow down. She's just trying to provoke you. Once he caught his breath, Yao Yang's bravado returned. Right. Sister, since she has the steward's token, we know she, a concubine's daughter, has no idea how to manage a household. Let's follow her and watch her make a fool of herself. Sheng Mimi pretended not to notice the 2 little shadows trailing her. She ordered all the servants in the estate to gather at the main hall, lined up by rank. Someone whispered in the crowd, I heard the new madam is a substitute bride, a concubine's daughter from the Sheng family. She probably never learned how to manage a household. The old madam was really taking a chance putting her in charge, and yesterday she got into a fight with our young master in the middle of the wedding. Sheng Mimi acted as if she heard nothing. Once the chatter died down, she calmly picked up her teacup and surveyed the crowd. I recall there are 138 servants in this estate. 111 are on duty today, and 28 are off. Uncle Liu, have those who are off come see me tomorrow when they return. As the new head of the household, I won't be making any major changes to the existing rules. However, if I find anything unreasonable, I will correct it. We are a noble and charitable family. I expect everyone to do their duties diligently. I don't want to see any insubordination, or things could get unpleasant for everyone. I took their money, she thought, so I have to do the job right. You think you can find fault with me after all the homework I did last night? She then called out all the head stewards, madams, and senior maids by name. At that, no one dared to underestimate her anymore. It was her first day, and she already knew the household like the back of her hand. What are your orders, madam? Sheng Mimi set her teacup down with a crisp sound. You few, who were just gossiping about me in the crowd. That is disrespect to your mistress. You will each slap your own faces 10 times. The servants immediately fell to their knees, begging for mercy. Madam, we were wrong. We'll never do it again. Sheng Mimi had no intention of being seen as a pushover. Her expression didn't change. 20 slap! Not daring to argue further, they were about to begin when the little tyrant Ning Yaoyang stepped forward. Stop! I'd like to see who dares to hit my servants. Sheng Mimi smiled. Oh, so they're your servants? In that case, you're all dismissed from your current posts. After your punishment, you can report to the gardens for menial work. Ning Yaoyang was furious. He had stepped in, and not only did this woman ignore him, she made the punishment even harsher. You bad woman, you wouldn't dare! Her smile remained. I am the official wife your father Ning Jingmo married. You should call me mother or madam. As the esteemed grandson of the Marquis of Chongren, for you to run around calling me bad woman is a disgrace to your father and to our entire family. Do you understand? Yao Yang's face turned red, and for a moment he was speechless. His sister, Ning Jiaoyue, stepped forward. That's enough, brother. The little girl was beautiful and delicate, but her expression was cold. The one who had an engagement with our father was the official daughter of your family, not a concubine's daughter like you. Do you think you're worthy of being called our mother? It was Sheng Mimi's first real confrontation with the girl, and she knew Jiao Yue was much sharper than her brother. But she was still just a child. It's not about where you come from. It's about what you do. Why wouldn't I be worthy? I completed the wedding ceremony with your father and have been acknowledged by your grandparents as the lady of this house. Whether you call me mother is not up to you. Of course, you don't have to. You can keep calling me bad woman, and when word gets out, people will just laugh at you for having no manners. The words bad woman were on the tip of Yao Yang's tongue, but a tug from his sister stopped him. You're so shameless, he sputtered instead. The servants could all see that their young master was losing this battle of wills. Realizing they couldn't count on him, they began slapping their own faces. "We were wrong, it was our fault. Please have mercy, madam, we won't do it again." This only enraged Yao Yang more. It was a direct slap in his face. While he was still trying to figure out how to fight back, his own servants had surrendered. He grabbed his sister's hand and stormed off. "You two are not to leave yet," Sheng Mimi called out. Yao Yang spun around, glaring. "What now? If you think you can force me to call you mother, you're dreaming. It's never going to happen." Sheng Mimi held up an account book. "You spend 1,000 taels of silver a month drinking and dining at the Drunken Immortal Pavilion? What exactly are you eating? And on top of that, there are expenses for mountain trips, garden plays, and even lending money to others. All this adds up to several thousand taels." Yao Yang shot back. "So what? Are you trying to control how I spend my money? It's none of your business." Sheng Mimi closed the book and handed it to the steward. She was going to break Yao Yang's habit of reckless spending and teach him the value of money. Otherwise, how would he ever focus on his studies and bring honor to the family? She had made a promise to the old marquis and his wife, and she intended to see that this boy earned a scholarly title, one way or another. "Steward, from this day forward, all of the young master's non-essential social expenses are to be cancelled. Any special requests must be reported to me for approval before any funds are released." The steward acknowledged the order. Yao Yang looked ready to explode. "You dare! It's not your money! My grandparents don't even control me like this!" Zhao Yui held her hot-headed brother back. "Don't be impulsive!" Sheng Mimi ignored his tantrum, adding fuel to the fire. "You're right. Your grandparents don't control you, so I will. It's for the family's reputation. It's one thing for you to waste money, but it's another for people to laugh and say the Marquisate of Chongren has a fool named Ning Yaoyang who throws money away." Yao Yang was stunned into silence. Zhao Yui spoke up, defending him. "My brother's spending habits are indeed a problem, but some of these are necessary expenses for a young nobleman. You can't cut him off completely." Sheng Mimi's lips curved into a slight smile. The kids may not like her, but they still cared about the family's honor. They weren't completely lost causes. So she instructed the steward, "In the future, all of Ning Yaoyang's non-essential expenses should be reviewed by the young miss before being brought to me." Seeing this, Zhao Yue gave a slight bow. "My brother and I are heading to our lessons now. We won't disturb you any further, madam." Sheng Mimi, recognizing that Zhao Yu had just tacitly acknowledged her authority, waved them off with a smile. "Go on, study hard." As they walked away, Yao Yang grumbled to his sister, "Whose side are you on anyway?" With the children gone, the servants' respect for their new mistress deepened. She had even managed to put the young master in his place. From now on, they knew they had to be on their best behavior and never cross her. Sheng Mimi knew the kids wouldn't give up so easily, but this little confrontation had inadvertently helped her establish her authority. As for changing their personalities, well, she had plenty of time. Finally, she had 2 old accountants stay behind to ask about the estate's most profitable businesses. "The estate's main income comes from our pharmacies, pawn shops, and restaurants. The cosmetics and clothing shops have also seen an increase in revenue recently." Sheng Mimi considered this. The 3 shops from her dowry were barely breaking even. If things continued like this, she might even have to put her own money in to keep them afloat. She needed to find a way to make them profitable. Just then, a handmaiden reported that someone from the Sheng family had arrived to see her. A middle-aged matron entered the room. It turned out that when Madame Sheng heard Mimi was now managing the Marquis's household, she feared Mimi would embarrass the family due to her lack of experience, and sent her most trusted servant to help. Sheng Mimi recognized her. It was Madame Sheng's right-hand woman. It seemed her stepmother, seeing her newfound power, was already trying to control her. She flatly refused. "My stepmother needn't worry. My father is a scholar of the Hanlin Academy, and though I am a concubine's daughter, I inherited his intelligence and capability. Managing a household is a small matter I can handle, and even if I couldn't, there are plenty of capable stewards here. The Sheng family has no place interfering in the Marquisate's affairs. Steward, see our guest out." The matron left, disgruntled but unable to argue. The incident only increased the household staff's respect for Sheng Mimi. Suddenly, a frantic voice called out from a distance. "Madam, it's terrible! The young master hit the tutor at the family school. The tutor is demanding to see you at once." Sheng Mimi sighed and rubbed her forehead. That boy couldn't stay out of trouble for a single moment. After the confrontation, the 2 little tyrants had reluctantly gone to their lessons. But Ning Yaoyang, still fuming, had taken his anger out on the tutor. And now Sheng Mimi was being called to clean up the mess. "Tutor, please calm down, don't be so upset." The old tutor's beard was trembling with rage. "Who are you? Don't get in my way. I'm waiting for the old marquis to get here and give me an explanation. I want to ask him just how he raised Ning Yaoyang to be so disrespectful and arrogant." "You're absolutely right," Sheng Mimi said soothingly. "It's our fault for not teaching him better. The old marquis and his wife left the capital yesterday, so they aren't here. I am Ning Yaoyang's mother. Please tell me what happened. I will make sure he is disciplined. The tutor, seeing her reasonable attitude, began to calm down. He felt this new lady of the house was surprisingly well-mannered. In all my decades of teaching the children of the capital's great families, I have never seen a student as awful as Ning Yaoyang. He refused to take his monthly test and disrupted the other students. I sent him to the courtyard to stand in the corner, and he ripped up all my flowers and let my pet parrot, which I've raised for over a year, fly away. When I tried to discipline him with a ruler, he became more ferocious than I was and shoved me to the ground. I cannot teach Ning Yaoyang. Take him home. He is not welcome in this school for the next few days. Sheng Mimi gave an apologetic smile. Rest assured, I will take him home and make sure he reflects on his actions. He won't return until he has. Her cooperative attitude had diffused most of the tutor's anger. He'd seen many parents, but it was rare to find one so decisive and reasonable, who didn't try to use their status to excuse their child's behavior. After getting the full story, Sheng Mimi grabbed the tutor's ruler and stormed into the detention room. Ning Yaoyang, you little rascal, prepare to meet your doom. But the room was empty, save for an open window in the back. Sheng Mimi couldn't believe it. This kid was something else, hit a teacher and then run away. Just you wait, she thought. She turned to Ning Jiaoyue. Jiaoyue, sweetie, do you know where your brother went? Jiaoyu quietly shook her head. I don't. I can go look for him. No need, Sheng Mimi said, patting her shoulder. You're not well. You stay here and focus on your lessons. I'll find him. Back at the estate, she summoned all of Ning Yaoyang's little servant boys. Tell me where your young master is. You know what will happen if you lie. The boys pleaded, Madam, we don't know. When the young master and miss go to school, we have to wait outside. We're not allowed in. Sheng Mimi didn't buy it. Think harder, she said coldly. If you can't remember, then you're no longer needed by his side. What good are you if you can't even keep track of your own master? That did the trick. The memory of her iron-fisted approach on her first day was still fresh. To save their jobs, one of them spoke up. Recently, the young master got a few very large fighting crickets. He might have gone to the market to bet on them. Sheng Mimi immediately took some men to the market. Sure enough, there was the little tyrant Ning Yaoyang. He had just lost 200 taels and the bookies were pressing him for the money. What's the rush? I've got plenty of money. It's not like I'm going to run out on you. Ning Yaoyang tossed them a banknote. As they flattered him, he was about to go for another round when a shadow fell over him. There you are, you little brat. He looked up to see Sheng Mimi's face looming over him. She grabbed him by the ear. You dare to hit your tutor, skip school, and now you're gambling? And it looks like you've been hiding money from me. Ning Yaoyang squealed like a pig. Let go of me. The group he was with shot Sheng Mimi a nasty look. Who are you? Don't interrupt our business. Sheng Mimi shot back just as fiercely. Who am I? I'm his mother. And you're luring my son into gambling. Maybe I should call the authorities. The men immediately backed off. Ning Yaoyang was still yelling, Hey brothers, help me, I can still place another bet. Sheng Mimi just scoffed and confiscated all the money on him. With his money gone, no one was interested in keeping him around. She dragged him out of the crowd, ignoring his protests. You evil stepmother, let go of me. You still have the nerve to be arrogant? Just wait until we get home. Just then, a poor scholar carrying a book box walked by and said to Ning Yaoyang, A mother's command must be obeyed. A child should respect his parents, know right from wrong, and stay away from such sordid affairs. Yaoyang glared at him. I don't even know you. Mind your own business. The scholar just shook his head. If you remain stubborn and refuse to learn, you will one day find yourself in a terrible predicament, and it will be too late for regrets. Sheng Mimi took a good look at the scholar. He seemed to be from out of town, here for the imperial exams, and he took the time to lecture a child he didn't even know. He seemed like a decent person. She gave him a small smile. Please don't mind him, sir. I have not taught him well. I apologize for the scene. The scholar said no more, simply bowed to her and went on his way. Sheng Mimi told her handmaiden to follow him and see where he was staying. The man had the bearing of an upright scholar. If Yao Yang got kicked out of school for good, perhaps she could hire this man as a private tutor. Back at the estate, Ning Yaoyang was forced to his knees by the guards but was still shouting. You evil stepmother! What right do you have to control me? You're not my real mother. You're just a concubine's daughter, not even worth one of my fingers. Let me go or I'll hit you. Sheng Mimi decided this kid needed more than just a lecture. He needed a proper spanking. She ordered the steward to bring the family disciplinary rod. The servants were all in shock. Whenever the young master made a mistake, he would just act cute with his grandparents and get away with it. They had never used the disciplinary rod on him. Yao Yang was also stunned that this woman, who had just married into the family, would dare to do this. I am the young master of this house. You wouldn't dare, he roared. Sheng Mimi smirked. The old marquis and madam left you two in my care. They specifically said that if you, Ning Yaoyang, cause trouble, I can punish you as I see fit. I can't let them down. The old steward quickly returned with the family rod and a long, flat ruler. Zheng Mimi looked around. Who will assist me in carrying out the punishment? Every servant lowered their head, silent. Who would dare? The young master was their precious jewel. This new madam was truly fierce. Zheng Mimi sighed. She had hoped to find someone with a bit of backbone, but it seemed there was no one. It just went to show how spoiled Yao Yang was. She would have to do it herself. According to the Ning family rules, Article 10, disrespecting a teacher warrants 10 strikes. Article 47, engaging in gambling warrants 10 strikes. The ruler landed on Ning Yaoyang's backside. He let out a piercing yelp. Seeing it was for real, Ning Jiaoyue could no longer stand by. Madam, I will take half of my brother's punishment. Zheng Mimi cleared her throat. Jiaoyue, sweetie, you are also at fault for not stopping your brother, but your mistake doesn't warrant this kind of punishment. You evil stepmother, Yao Yang interrupted. I did it and I'll take the punishment myself. I don't need my sister to cover for me. Well, Zheng Mimi said with a small smile. At least you know how to protect your sister. You have some backbone after all. She would never hit Zhao Yue, who was far too frail. Yao Yang, on the other hand, was built to take a beating. With the second strike, Yao Yang clenched his jaw and refused to cry out again. After 20 strikes, his bottom was on fire. He glared up at Zheng Mimi. Are you done? Everyone thought it was over. But then, to their astonishment, Zheng Mimi knelt down beside Ning Yaoyang. Ancestors of the Ning family, the child has made a mistake because I, his mother, Zheng Mimi, have failed in my duty to teach him. I will accept 10 strikes as punishment for my failure. The entire household was stunned. The two children stared at her with complicated expressions. Zheng Mimi handed the ruler to the old madam's head handmaiden. Banyang, you do it. After a moment's hesitation, Banyang did as she was told, delivering 10 solid strikes to Zheng Mimi. The punishment was over, but the image of her taking responsibility left a deep impression on everyone. Supported by her handmaiden, Zheng Mimi walked slowly back to her courtyard, making sure everyone saw how much pain she was in. In reality, it was nothing. Thanks to her years of practicing Baduanjin, she could use her internal energy to cushion the blows. Her bottom wouldn't even be bruised. With a kid this stubborn, she thought, you need a mix of discipline and drama. A little bit of a pity play will win them over without making them rebellious. Later, she asked her handmaiden about the scholar she'd had followed. I found him, madam. His name is Ji Chengsheng. He came to the capital for the imperial exams and is currently living in the woodshed of an inn, making a living by copying books and paintings. Hearing how poor he was, Zheng Mimi knew it would be easy to persuade him. Meanwhile, in the children's residence, Ning Yaoyang was lying on his stomach, grumbling. That evil stepmother is unbelievable, it hurts so much. Oh, stop complaining, brother, Ning Jiaoyu said coolly. She didn't hit you that hard. There are no marks. A little bit of ointment, and you'll be back to normal by morning. What do you mean, don't complain? It's a good thing I'm tough, or I would have been beaten to death today. Zhao Yue sighed. Banyang didn't hold back when she hit the madam, though. Yao Yang perked up. Serves her right. That's what she gets for daring to punish me, the heir of this house. Next time she uses the family rod, she'll have to take a beating too. Let's see who can last longer. Brother, Grandma, and Grandpa left us and ran off to Yangzhou, Zhao Yue said disapprovingly. Maybe we should think about what we've done wrong. This stepmother has only been here a few days, and she was willing to get punished herself just to teach us a lesson. Say what you will, but at least her intentions were good. I just can't stand being pushed around. Yao Yang huffed. Zhao Yu's feelings were mixed. She knew her stepmother was using a tactic, but it was a tactic that made them feel guilty. Just then, a maid ran in with bad news. The matron from the madam's courtyard is taking all the valuables from the young master's room. The madam said she's afraid you'll hide money for gambling again, so she's confiscating everything. Yao Yang's newfound flicker of sympathy vanished. What? After punishing me, she's now taking my property? Don't touch my stuff, he yelled at the servants. Just wait until my butt feels better tomorrow, I'll get you all back for this. But the servants, now loyal to Zheng Mimi, were no longer afraid of the little tyrant. Yao Yang turned to his sister for help. Zhao Yu comforted him. It's okay, brother. My things are still here. If you need money, just tell me. You can take things from my room. No way. I'm a man. I can't steal from my sister. Zhao Yue, are you taking her side now? Of course not. I'm always on your side, brother. Even if Grandma and Grandpa were here, I'd still be on your side. That satisfied Yao Yang. With his sister behind him, he felt he could take on any evil stepmother. Meanwhile, Zheng Mimi listened as her maid listed the confiscated items. She clicked her tongue in amazement. This kid was seriously spoiled. A golden chamber pot? His New Year's money alone was more than her entire lifetime salary as the lady of the house. She told the maid to store everything safely. She'd return it to Yao Yang once he learned his lesson. It was the middle of the night, and Xiang Mimi began the second phase of her plan. She took her maid out to the garden to catch crickets. After searching for a while, she finally spotted a large one. Just as she was about to catch it, the sound of servants' voices scared it away. "Isn't he here yet? Go hurry the doctor!" Sensing their panic, Xiang Mimi went over to ask what was wrong. They told her the young miss was having another attack of her cold illness. Xiang Mimi knew Ning Zhao Yue had a chronic condition that flared up in the winter, but she didn't know the details. Inside, Ning Zhao Yue was shivering uncontrollably, worse than ever before. Terrified, Ning Yaoyang stood by her bed, afraid she wouldn't make it. When he saw Xiang Mimi, he snapped, "You're here, but where's the doctor?" Xiang Mimi ignored him and went to the bed, placing a hand on Zhao Yue's body. She felt an intense, deep chill. As she prepared to act, Yaoyang shoved her away. "What are you doing? Don't touch my sister." She paid him no mind and asked a servant for a set of silver needles. The old madam's handmaiden asked nervously, "Madam, do you know medicine?" "A little," Xiang Mimi replied. Yaoyang blocked her path. "You know a little and you want to stick my sister with needles? Are you trying to kill her? Her condition is severe and came on suddenly." Xiang Mimi said sternly, "If we don't do something now, the consequences will be dire." Yaoyang was desperate but didn't trust her. "Why should I believe you? What if you're doing this on purpose?" "If Zhao Yue dies because of me, I will pay with my life," Xiang Mimi declared. "Or would you rather do nothing and just watch her slip away?" Yaoyang looked at his suffering sister and decided to take the risk. He stepped aside but warned her, "Remember what you said. If anything happens to Zhao Yue, I'll never forgive you." Xiang Mimi quickly pricked Zhao Yue's fingertips to draw blood, but the cold had nearly frozen it solid. Using the internal energy she'd cultivated from her Baduanjin practice, she worked to unblock the girl's circulation. A moment later, Zhao Yue coughed violently, spitting up a mouthful of dark blood. Yaoyang thought he'd lost his gamble. He shoved Xiang Mimi away again, his voice cracking with emotion. "If you have a problem with me, take it out on me. I'll apologize, I'll get on my knees, whatever you want. What did you do to my sister?" Just then, Zhao Yue's eyes fluttered open. She whispered weakly. The frantic Yaoyang instantly calmed down. "Sister, how are you? Are you feeling uncomfortable anywhere?" Xiang Mimi's maid muttered under her breath, "Some people just don't appreciate kindness." "Madam, are you okay?" Xiang Mimi shook her head. At that moment, the family physician finally arrived. He was a renowned doctor kept on retainer specifically for Zhao Yue. After treating her, he wiped a layer of sweat from his brow. The young Mrs. Cold illness worsens as she gets older. Thankfully, the cold blood was expelled. Otherwise, her internal organs could have been frozen. "Young master, may I ask which physician performed the emergency acupuncture?" Yaoyang looked at Xiang Mimi with a flicker of gratitude and pointed. It was her. The physician immediately bowed to Xiang Mimi. "Madam, your medical skills are exquisite. May I ask who your teacher was?" In her past life, Xiang Mimi had been an attending physician in the emergency department of a top-tier hospital. Lacking modern equipment here, she humbly replied that she had no formal training but simply enjoyed studying medical texts. Assuming it was just a lucky coincidence, the physician dropped the subject. As Xiang Mimi walked him out, she asked, "Is there no cure for Ning Zhao Yue's illness?" "It's a condition she's had since birth," the doctor explained. "I've searched every medical text I can find, but I've made no progress. I'm afraid she may not live to see her 15th birthday." Xiang Mimi's hand tightened into a fist. The illness was stubborn, but with her medical knowledge, she was confident she could find the root cause. She was determined to solve this medical mystery. Yaoyang stayed by his sister's bed all night. When she woke the next morning, he asked, "How are you feeling? Are you still cold anywhere?" Xiang Mimi arrived with breakfast and saw the two siblings talking warmly. Their bond was truly strong. She smiled and approached the bed. "Zhao Yue, sweetie, I brought you some red date porridge." This time, Yaoyang didn't immediately snap at her. Zhao Yue, knowing Xiang Mimi had saved her, tried to be polite, though a hint of distance remained in her voice. "Thank you for your kindness, madam. You can just call me Zhao Yue." Xiang Mimi smiled. "You are my daughter, so you'll always be my sweetie. It's not wrong for me to call you that." She then turned to Yaoyang. "And don't you even think about it, you little brat. Only your sister is my little angel." "Good." Yaoyang sniffed. "I'm thankful for that." Xiang Mimi huffed, then told Zhao Yue to let her know if she needed anything. Then she turned to Yaoyang. "Come outside with me for a moment." Once they were outside, Yaoyang announced, "I'm not going to school today. I have to take care of my sister." She rolled her eyes. "And last night you were offering to apologize and kneel. Look, I don't have time to argue. Ning Yaoyang, do you have any of those fighting crickets left?" "No, I don't have any," he said quickly. She could see right through him. "As a thank you for saving your sister, lend me one. I have a surprise for you." "No way. You'll probably just squish my General Goldie." Xiang Mimi pretended to wipe away a tear. "Do you really think I'm that cruel?" "Who else would be?" he retorted. "Fine, you can have my general, but you have to promise me one thing." "I'm listening." she said with a grin. But if it's about getting your stuff back, the answer is no. That's not it, he said, looking pained. If you take General Goldie, you have to promise to save my sister again next time she gets sick. Chang Mimi immediately agreed. The boy was a handful, but his love for his sister was real. He was worth saving. After handing over the cricket, Yao Yang's curiosity got the better of him. What did she want with his prize fighter? She couldn't possibly be planning to set it free, could she? He waited, but there was no sound from her room. What was she doing? After a while, the door opened, and Cheng Mimi stepped out dressed as a man. Yao Yang's eyes went wide. What was she up to now? Overcome with curiosity, he stealthily followed her. Cheng Mimi quickly noticed her little tail. She stopped and turned around. Come on out, I see you. Yao Yang stepped out, trying to look casual. I'm not following you. I just want to see where you're taking my general. Cheng Mimi held up the cricket cage. To the market, of course. A wild idea popped into Yao Yang's head. You're not going to fight him, are you? She gave him a look. Don't be so dramatic. They cheated my son out of his money. I'm just going to win it back. Yao Yang was so excited he didn't even notice she'd called him her son. Then why are you dressed like that? It's more convenient for a man, she said with a huff. If I go as myself, it could cause trouble. So Cheng Mimi took Ning Yao Yang back to the market. The place was just as crowded as the day before. At the cricket fighting ring, they overheard the same men complaining that business was slow. All they were getting were poor kids with no money. They wished for a few more rich suckers like the one from yesterday, who still had hundreds of taels left to lose. Yao Yang's face flushed with embarrassment. Cheng Mimi nudged him. See? You lose your money and they still call you a sucker. Just watch me. They walked over. Excuse me, is there room for one more? The men recognized Yao Yang and their eyes lit up. Yes, yes, please, young master, come in. Yao Yang told them he wasn't playing today. He was with his uncle. The men eagerly turned their attention to Cheng Mimi, figuring if the kid was rich, his uncle must be loaded. Cheng Mimi took out the cricket. How does this work? I'm new to this, so you'll have to explain the rules. The men glanced at her cricket. It was big, but nothing special. They figured they were in for another easy payday. After hearing the rules, Cheng Mimi, thinking you have to risk it to get the biscuit, pulled out a banknote for 500 taels from her dowry. Anyone want to match my bet? Yao Yang gasped. The most he ever bet was 200 taels. This woman was betting 500 right off the bat. Was she planning on losing the family's money? The swindlers grinned. This wasn't just the sucker's uncle, this was an even bigger sucker. The match began. Cheng Mimi's cricket was a powerhouse, quickly overwhelming its opponent. We won! Yao Yang cheered, jumping up and down. The swindlers were still in shock. Cheng Mimi scooped up all the money. My general is truly amazing. Thanks for the game. She started to leave, but the men blocked her path. Friend, it's no fun to play just one round. How about a few more? I see you're a skilled player. Why not bet it all and go for a big win? Cheng Mimi pretended to hesitate. If I bet it all, it feels a bit one-sided. Will you match whatever I bet? The men, convinced the first round was a fluke, eagerly agreed. They were determined to win their money back, with interest. Cheng Mimi knew exactly what they were thinking, but she had an ace up her sleeve. She pushed the entire 1,000 taels she had just won onto the table. The swindlers chuckled, bringing out their own champion cricket, a fighter that had never lost a match. They were sure her luck had run out. But to their disbelief, their champion was soundly defeated. Yao Yang cheered, grabbing Cheng Mimi's hand. Yes, we won again. Cheng Mimi coolly collected her 2,000 taels. I guess I just can't lose today. One more round? I'll bet it all again. This time the men knew they were beat. You're a master, friend. We'll have to challenge you again some other day. All right then, she said. We're going home to eat. As she and the boy left, the swindlers fumed. They were out 1,500 taels. This wasn't over. On the way back, just as Cheng Mimi was about to explain why the cricket was so strong, she noticed they were being followed. Grabbing Yao Yang's hand, she broke into a run. The swindlers emerged from the shadows. Think you can win our money and just walk away? Leave the cash and we'll let you go. Otherwise, we're breaking both your legs. As they fled, Cheng Mimi didn't miss the chance for a lesson. See? They're just a bunch of cheats. Their crickets are drugged to make them more aggressive. They win 9 times out of 10, and if they lose, they follow you and take the money back by force. Only a fool like you would fall for it. How did you know? Yao Yang panted. And how did you win twice? She grinned. Because I drugged our cricket too. My stuff is just better than theirs. Yao Yang realized she had borrowed his cricket to teach those guys a lesson for him. Maybe she wasn't so bad after all. The two of them were surprisingly nimble and quickly broke through the circle of thugs, running out onto a main street. They ran right into a patrol from the Imperial Guard. These guys were intimidating, but at least they were the law. It was the perfect opportunity to shake their pursuers. Yao Yang, out of shape, was already exhausted. As the swindlers caught up, Sheng Mimi pulled him into a tavern frequented by the Imperial Guard. As expected, the men didn't dare follow them inside. They were safe for now. Just then, a scholar with a book box walked past. Sheng Mimi recognized him. It was Ji Changsheng, the man she wanted to hire as Yao Yang's tutor. She rushed to follow him but bumped into a waiter. "Hey, what's the rush? You nearly knocked me over." "I'm so sorry," Sheng Mimi said. "I just saw a friend, a scholar, and was trying to catch him." The waiter replied, "Oh, you know that poor scholar? He's been staying in the back woodshed and he's way behind on rent. I heard some noble lady offered to sponsor him, but he turned her down. The guy's got a screw loose, if you ask me." Could this scholar be someone important in the future? Sheng Mimi wondered. Her resolve hardened. She had to get this man to tutor Yao Yang. After getting directions from the waiter, she took Yao Yang to the woodshed. Yao Yang's face fell. "Why are we looking for this poor scholar? I know. You're having an affair with him, aren't you? You brought me here to catch you in the act." Sheng Mimi bonked him on the head. "Catch me in the act? You and your wild imagination." They found Ji Changsheng in the miserable woodshed. Yet he still carried himself with an air of dignified resilience. "Sir Ji, please forgive the intrusion. I am this boy's uncle. His mother was very grateful for your words of guidance on the street yesterday. She has asked if you would be willing to come to our home and tutor this boy. It would only be for half a day, so it wouldn't interfere with your own studies. What do you think?" Ji Changsheng looked Yao Yang up and down without answering. "A tutor," Yao Yang protested. Ji Changsheng replied, "I am honored by the offer, but I have never taught a student before. I fear I would not be a suitable teacher for the young master. It would be best to find someone else." Sheng Mimi held Yao Yang back. "It's all right. I am only relaying the wishes of my sister-in-law. She is the lady of the Marquisate of Chongren, and this boy is her son, Ning Yao Yang. If you change your mind, you can find her at the estate. Where there's a will, there's a way." As soon as he was free, Yao Yang sneered at Ji Changsheng. "You heard him. He's not good enough to teach me. Don't listen to her. I don't need a tutor, so don't you dare show up at my house or I'll have my men break your legs." Sheng Mimi sighed, clamped a hand over Yao Yang's mouth, and bid Ji Changsheng farewell. Ji Changsheng watched them go. Truly a wild child, he thought. Still, the offer was much more reasonable than the noble lady who had offered to sponsor him for no reason. It was worth considering. Outside, Yao Yang was still fuming. "Who said you could hire a tutor for me? And why are we leaving through the back? In case those swindlers are waiting for us out front. Use your head." At the back alley, they saw a carriage. Yao Yang suggested, "Let's take that carriage to get out of this neighborhood. That way they won't find us." "There's someone in there," Sheng Mimi said. "They'll just kick us out. We'll pay them," Yao Yang said. "You want all that money? Toss them 100 taels and I'm sure they'll be happy to give us a ride." Before she could argue, he had already climbed aboard. Sheng Mimi sighed and followed him. Inside sat a man wearing a mask, radiating an icy, unapproachable aura. From behind the mask, a pair of dark, bottomless eyes fixed on them. "What is it?" he asked. Sheng Mimi's blood ran cold. It was the emissary of the Imperial Guard, the ruthless, mysterious man whom almost no one but the Emperor had ever seen without his mask. This was no time to be hitching a ride, it was time to run for their lives. She reacted instantly, pulling Yao Yang back. "We didn't realize you were here on official business, emissary. Our apologies for the disturbance. We'll leave at once." "Stop!" the emissary commanded. Yao Yang, who feared nothing, started to tremble. His grandparents had told him the emissary of the Imperial Guard ate children for breakfast and to stay far away from him. And now he just served himself up on a silver platter. The emissary stepped out of the carriage, his voice devoid of emotion. "A disturbance? How bold. Who are you?" Suddenly, they were surrounded by armed guards. Sheng Mimi instinctively pulled Yao Yang behind her. She was the adult. She could think on her feet and get him out of this. "Emissary, we are from the Marquisate of Chongren. This is the young master, Ning Yao Yang. If you don't believe me, you can take me in for questioning. Just let our young master go home. He's only a child." Hearing her words, Yao Yang's fear subsided a little. "Is this evil stepmother protecting me?" he thought. "I'm a man. I don't need her protection. Besides, as the heir to the Marquisate, even the Imperial Guard wouldn't dare kill me for no reason." His pride kicked in. He broke free from her grasp and declared, "No, if you're going to arrest someone, arrest me." The emissary studied Yao Yang for a long moment. "You are the heir of the Marquisate of Chongren? Who was chasing you?" "I was playing with fighting crickets," Yao Yang said nervously. "I won some money, and the other men were sore losers, so they chased us." The emissary looked from one to the other, his stare making their skin crawl. Finally, he said, "Go. If you disturb me again, you will be executed." Sheng Mimi quickly thanked him and dragged Yao Yang away, breaking into a run. She was covered in a cold sweat. What an unlucky day to run into him. "Ning Yao Yang, are you okay?" Once they were safe, Yao Yang's bravado returned. "Of course. I'm not scared of him. I'm the heir of the Marquisate of Chongren. Who in this capital would dare to touch me? Shang Mimi couldn't help but smile. You know, you were pretty brave back there. I underestimated you. The praise made Yao Yang even more smug. They walked back to the estate, chatting and laughing, completely unaware that agents of the Imperial Guard were secretly escorting them the whole way. Back at the carriage, a man in black reported, "Emissary, they have been safely escorted back to the estate. We've captured the swindlers. Should we interrogate them or—" A cold voice came from inside the carriage. "Kill them." Back home, Shang Mimi counted her winnings. After subtracting her initial 500 tael investment, she was up 1,500. It would have been a perfect day if not for the run-in with the emissary. "It's just a little money. What's the big deal?" Yao Yang grumbled. "I wasn't taking you out to gamble," she said sternly. "I was teaching you about swindlers. This won't happen again, understand? Here, this 500 is for borrowing your cricket. Your general did not die in vain." Yao Yang couldn't believe she was actually sharing the money with him. But his joy was short-lived as she plucked the banknote right back out of his hand. "You're too young to be carrying around this much cash. I'll keep it safe for you. When you finally kick your bad spending habits, I'll give it back." Yao Yang was too emotionally drained from the day's roller coaster to argue. This woman was just too much. He let her do what she wanted. He went to see his sister and told her everything that had happened. Zhao Yue was astounded. "She really protected you from the Imperial Guard emissary? Wasn't she afraid of that ruthless killer?" "She did," Yao Yang confirmed. "Hey, do you think maybe she knows him, and it was all an act for my benefit?" "Impossible," Zhao Yu said firmly. "The emissary is one of the Emperor's most trusted men. Even our grandparents might not get face from him. How could a concubine's daughter from the Sheng family possibly know him?" Yao Yang's imagination ran wild again. What if they have some kind of secret relationship? Also impossible, Zhao Yue reasoned. If they did, why would she marry into our family as a substitute? Marrying the emissary would be much better. By the way, is he a man or a woman? How old is he? Yao Yang shuddered at the memory. He's a man, tall and imposing, but I couldn't tell his age. He wears this terrifying demon mask. I didn't dare look too closely. Zhao Yu thought for a moment. Perhaps she guessed the emissary would give face to our family, so she put on a show of protecting you to make us feel grateful. "That's it!" Yao Yang exclaimed. "You're so smart, sister. That has to be it." She promised me 500 taels and then took it back before the money even got warm in my hand. What a phony. "And what about this poor scholar?" Zhao Yue asked. "What was he like?" "A nosy busybody," Yao Yang said without hesitation. Zhao Yu fell silent. She should have known not to ask her brother. This stepmother was no simpleton. She could manage a household, handle swindlers on the street, and even keep her cool in front of the emissary. With their grandparents gone, she knew she had to be on high alert. "Brother, tomorrow is the day she makes her customary 3-day visit back to her family. We're going with her. We need to find out what she's really about." The next day, Shang Mimi woke from a nightmare. She had dreamt again of her original body's mother, concubine Zhao, on the day she died. The original Shang Mimi had died from grief, allowing her to take over her body. But she still couldn't figure out why concubine Zhao had thrown herself down a well. Shaking it off, she had her handmaiden help her get ready. According to custom, the 3rd day after the wedding was when a new bride visited her family. Her handmaiden gently suggested she wait for the young marquise to return, to avoid the embarrassment of going alone. "No need," Shang Mimi said. "We're going today. Everyone in the capital knows my husband isn't here, so what's there to be embarrassed about? Besides, I have a few things to take care of today." When she got to the carriage, she found Ning Yao Yang and Ning Zhao Yue already sitting inside. "What are you two doing here?" Yao Yang lifted his chin. "We're accompanying you on behalf of our father. Don't get emotional about it." Shang Mimi ignored the little smart aleck and looked at Zhao Yue with concern. "Zhao Yue, sweetie, are you feeling better?" Seeing that she looked well, Shang Mimi decided against sending them back. "All right then. It's not good to be cooped up all day. You can come have a meal with me at the Sheng family home." She knew they were probably up to something, but having company wasn't so bad. Halfway there, she had the carriage stop. She needed to buy something from a pharmacy. "What are you buying medicine for?" Yao Yang asked suspiciously. "None of your business," she retorted. Then went into the pharmacy and ordered several expensive herbs. She told her maid to divide them into 2 packages, one for the Sheng estate and one to take back to the Marquis' estate. From the carriage, Yao Yang whispered, "Sister, do you think she bought some kind of expensive poison to kill us? They say that's what evil stepmothers do." "I doubt it," Zhao Yue replied. "If she were buying poison, she wouldn't do it so openly, with the driver and servants watching. Since she knows acupuncture, she probably knows some medicine. It makes sense for her to buy herbs." Yao Yang supposed that was true. No stepmother could be that brazen. Still, they had to be careful. Soon the carriage stopped at the back gate of the Sheng estate. "What's the meaning of this?" Yao Yang demanded. You're taking us through the back gate? We are the esteemed grandchildren of the Marquis of Chongren. We don't sneak in through back doors. Sheng Mimi told him she had a quick errand to run and that they should wait for her at the front gate with the driver. As she and her maid disappeared, Yao Yang rubbed his hands together. Why so secretive? If you don't want me to follow, that just makes me want to follow more. Sister, let's go see what kind of trouble she's getting into. Zhao Yue was also curious. The stepmother never did anything by the book. Sheng Mimi made her way to a dilapidated courtyard, took out an old key and let herself in, calling softly, Anzi? A moment later, a dazed-looking boy with vacant eyes and messy hair emerged from the house. This was the original Sheng Mimi's full brother, Sheng Anji. He had been bright and clever as a child and very close to his sister. But the shock of their mother's death had shattered his mind, leaving him in a state of perpetual confusion. Afraid of the shame of having a mentally disabled son, their father had locked him away without seeking any treatment. After Sheng Mimi took over the body, she had the medical knowledge but not the money to buy proper medicine. Her meager 1-month allowance was only enough to keep him alive. Though he wasn't her real brother, she felt a responsibility to care for him. She gently stroked his head. Be good, Anzi. Let me check your pulse. Her handmaiden sighed. The fourth young master has it so hard. Now that you're married, I doubt anyone has been bringing him proper meals. Don't worry, Sheng Mimi said. His life is about to get better. She was confident she could either bring him to the Marquise's estate to live with her, or use her new status to pressure the Sheng family into at least ensuring he was fed and not mistreated. She was well aware of the two little spies peeking through the crack in the door and just smiled to herself. Yao Yang whispered in amazement, Sister, I think she really can heal people. Look how skilled she is with those needles. She must have bought those expensive herbs for this boy. They found the maid preparing the medicine and asked who the boy was. That's the fourth young master, our mistress's full brother, the maid explained in a low voice. He's been like this ever since their mother died. No one in the family cares for him. If it weren't for our mistress, he wouldn't have survived this long. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to finish brewing his medicine. The two children stood there, their minds reeling. No father who cared, a mother who was gone. It turned out their evil stepmother had it even worse than they did. Sister, Yao Yang said quietly, maybe she's not so bad after all. They had come looking for faults, but instead they found a reason to feel sympathy. A little while later, Sheng Mimi was patiently coaxing her brother to drink the medicine, when a handkerchief wiped the sweat from her brow. She turned to see the two children. Well, look at this. Are you two actually helping me? No more insults? I was just afraid the sweat would get in your eyes and you'd choke him, Yao Yang said gruffly. Sheng Mimi smiled. Thank you. This was a breakthrough. Just then, her brother clutched his head and screamed, Save Mother! Someone is hurting Mother. Someone pushed her into the well. Before Sheng Mimi could even process the joy of his momentary clarity, his words hit her like a ton of bricks. Sheng Anji let out another pained cry, clutching his head, and then regressed back into his silent, dazed state. Sheng Mimi sighed. The expensive medicine had worked, at least for a moment. But what he said was deeply unsettling. If their mother had been murdered, could Anji's condition also be the result of foul play? If he knew the truth, his life would be in danger the moment he fully recovered. It's better not to treat him for now, she decided. His condition is his best protection. She quickly told her maid not to brew the rest of the herbs, claiming they weren't the right prescription. But he seemed to be getting better, Yao Yang said, confused. Why waste such expensive medicine? You call me a spendthrift, but you're the one being wasteful. Sheng Mimi ushered them out of the room. What do you know? Come on, let's go. The Sheng family had too many secrets. It was better not to involve the children. After locking the courtyard, she told them to go back to the Marquise's estate. Yao Yang refused. Are you afraid we'll cause a scene at your family's home and embarrass you? Yes, she said flatly, and ordered an attendant to escort them back safely. Yao Yang started, but Zhao Yue pulled him back. If we're not welcome, let's just go. With them gone, Sheng Mimi finally entered the main Sheng residence. Her father had insisted on a grand welcome, so her stepmother, Madame Sheng, and her stepsister, Sheng Luer, had been waiting in the main hall. Mother, Sheng Luer complained, the young Marquis isn't even back. She's probably not coming. Are we going to wait here all day? Just a little longer, Madame Sheng replied calmly. Just then, Sheng Mimi swept in, dressed in fine silks. Madame Sheng put on a show of being a loving mother and rose to greet her. Second sister, Sheng Luer said with surprise. You actually came back alone? Sheng Mimi smiled graciously. It's the day for a bride to visit her family. Does it matter if the young Marquis isn't here? Or are you saying you're not happy to see me, eldest sister? Sheng Luer was speechless. What's she so proud of? She fumed. So what if she married into a marquisate? She's just keeping a lonely bed. Madame Sheng chimed in. Mimi, you misunderstand your sister. She was just worried about you. After all, they say a bride returning alone is a bad omen, a sign of a lonely and unhappy marriage to come. Sheng Mimi sighed internally. She'd let them have their petty digs for now. She still had things to investigate and couldn't afford to make enemies of them just yet. Suddenly, an arrogant voice boomed from the doorway. Who says she's alone? My sister and I are with our stepmother. What's all this about being lonely and unhappy? Everyone turned to see a pair of gorgeously dressed twins walk in hand. The Sheng family was dumbfounded. Sheng Mimi stared. What are they doing here? And are they defending me? Sheng Luo was the most shocked of all. How is this possible? The rumor said the Marquise's children were terrors. Why would they come with you? Ning Jiaoyu's voice was like ice. Are we not welcome? Our families are now related. It's only proper for us to visit. Or is the Sheng family unhappy to see us? Of course not, Madame Sheng bustled forward. We are honored by your visit, young master and young miss. Please forgive our poor reception. Someone bring tea. Ning Yaoyang plopped down in the seat of honor. Let's see what kind of tea you have. I'll be sitting right here, and I'd like to see anyone try to bully my stepmother. Ning Jiaoyu, meanwhile, gave Madame Sheng a polite bow. Hearing herself called grandmother, Madame Sheng felt a pang of regret. Maybe she shouldn't have listened to her daughter. This girl had gained control of the household on day 1, and now, after only 3 days, the children were already calling her stepmother and protecting her. Sheng Mimi, enjoying the show, cleared her throat. Please excuse them. These two are a bit clingy. I told them not to come, but they insisted. Sheng Luo was in a daze. How can this be? She's just a concubine's daughter, a stepmother. She should be the one bowing and scraping. Why is she getting the happy ending I threw away? She tried to stir up more trouble. You should be thanking me, second sister. If I hadn't fallen ill on my wedding day, you never would have had the chance to marry into the Marquisate. Before Sheng Mimi could reply, Ning Yaoyang snapped, What does that mean? So you were the one engaged to our family? Thank goodness it wasn't you. Someone as ugly as you wants to be my stepmother? The only thing you'd be fit for in our house is shining my shoes. The insult triggered Sheng Luo's memories of her past life, where she had been humiliated and powerless in that very same house. Contrasting that with Sheng Mimi's current authority, she lost control and lunged at Ning Yaoyang. But Sheng Mimi caught her wrist mid-air. What do you think you're doing? How dare you try to strike the heir of the Marquisate? Sheng Luo snapped back to reality, collapsing to the floor in fear. I didn't. He insulted me first, she cried, trying to lie her way out of it. I can't believe you'd lie so shamelessly, Sheng Mimi said coldly. If I hadn't stopped you, your hand would have landed on my son's face. The Marquisate of Chongren is a noble house of the highest rank. These children may be young, but they are not to be touched by the likes of you. Seeing his stepmother defend him again, Ning Yaoyang felt his rebellious heart soften even more. Madame Sheng, seeing her daughter was clearly in the wrong, quickly tried to de-escalate. She ordered her maids, The eldest miss is not well. She's speaking nonsense. Take her back to her room and call a doctor. But Sheng Mimi wasn't about to let them off that easily. Stop. Madame Sheng forced a smile. It was just a misunderstanding. You know Luo has been ill. Sheng Mimi didn't return the smile. Everyone here saw her try to strike my son. I believe you owe me an explanation, Madame Sheng. Madame Sheng, though irritated, knew she was in a weak position. What kind of explanation do you want? One of my servants will return the slap. An eye for an eye is the way of my new family. Sheng Mimi, you're insane! Sheng Luo shrieked. You're just a substitute bride, a concubine's daughter. What right do you have to tell me what to do? The words were barely out of her mouth before Sheng Mimi slapped her, hard. On second thought, I'll do it myself. That was for my son. You'll learn to show respect. Sheng Luo clutched her stinging cheek. You hit me! She was answered with another sharp slap that knocked the arrogance right out of her. And that was for your mother, to teach you some manners. You think you can throw the term substitute bride in my face? That's your punishment for insulting the lady of the Marquisate. Remember your lesson, or I will have to teach you again. Sheng Mimi then turned to Madame Sheng, her expression all innocence. Stepmother, you're not angry with me, are you? I was only trying to help you discipline her. This time she insulted me, but if she offends someone else, the consequences might not be so light. Madame Sheng was furious, but could only force a smile and have her daughter taken away. She was filled with regret. Sheng Mimi had not only won over her in-laws and the children, but had also revealed a cunning and ruthless side Madame Sheng had never seen. She never should have agreed to the switch. Seeing the matter was settled, Sheng Mimi said she wished to pay respects to her birth mother's memorial tablet. Madame Sheng agreed. Because concubine Zhao's death had been ruled a suicide, she was considered unlucky and wasn't even allowed in the family's ancestral hall. Her tablet was kept in a small, lonely courtyard. After lighting incense, Sheng Mimi tested Madame Sheng. Stepmother, how is Anzi? I hope someone is looking after him now that I'm gone. Unaware that Mimi had already seen him, Madame Sheng lied smoothly. Don't you worry. Anzi is doing very well. I have someone bring him 3 meals a day and am even planning to assign a servant to him full-time. Sheng Mimi didn't call her out. Anzi doesn't like strangers in his room. Perhaps I could bring him to the Marquise's estate for a few days to care for him myself. It would save you the trouble. Madame Sheng, flustered, refused. How could that be? You've only just married. It wouldn't look right to bring your family with you. Besides, he is a son of the Sheng family. We can't have him disturbing others in his condition. Sheng Mimi didn't push it. For now, just reminding Madame Sheng of her new status was enough to ensure Anzi would be treated a little better. Just then, a servant announced that her father had returned and dinner was ready.
During the meal, her father fawned over Ning Yaoyang, a clear display of his sycophantic nature.
Sheng Mimi now knew exactly how to use these 2 children to her advantage. Then, her father turned to her with a stern expression. You must not forget where you came from. Now that you've married up, don't get arrogant. You must treat those 2 children as if they were your own and not put on airs, or I will discipline you myself. He said it deliberately in front of the children, hoping to win their favor by positioning himself as their protector. But before the words had even settled, Ning Yaoyang slammed his hand on the table. What did you just say? My sister and I are only eating here out of respect for our stepmother, and you're threatening to discipline her?